Hey, thanks for joining, Maxine. I'm here at Ministry of Wellness, your life insurance broker. And we're just here in another episode talking about life insurance. And we're going to get into the three things I provide to my life insurance clients. But before we get into that, I just want to thank you guys for stopping by. And please like and share this channel. I'm really trying to get up to 1,000 followers. So if you can help me do that, I have reincarnated this channel again. So I really want to focus not just on life insurance, but you're going to get some, little wellness in there too, some wellness coaching in there. I'm everything about health and wealth and making sure that we're being the better version of ourselves. So I'm not just your average life insurance, broker. I'm going to come in and I'm going to help to coach you along. And, just like how you have a relationship with a lawyer, your lawyer is the second thing best to your relative. Well, that's how a life insurance broker should be to you as well. Okay. So we're here to guide you along the way. And so that's what I want to talk about today, is because we think that it's just enough just to get a life insurance. And first, let me stop and say, I commend you if you have got a life insurance policy, or if you're not sure if you got a good life insurance policy, just check in with me. I can talk to you about it, no obligation. That's what I'm here for, right? I'm here for my community. And so with that said, we're going to just jump into it. So, one of the misnomers is about life insurance. I'll start there. Is that people think that, oh, the reason why I'm not going to get a life insurance policy is because it costs too much, or it's my health, or I don't want to think about dying. But people don't really realize it's really the actual the last love letter that you're going to leave to your family. So, like I said, I commend you for even thinking about getting a life insurance policy and doing so. And those of you who are on the fence, again, you can always contact me and we can just have a no obligation conversation. It's better you know than you don't know, right? So here's the thing about life insurance, though. People think that it just stops there. Oh, I got a life insurance policy and it's going to take care of everything and everybody's going to know what to do. And that's not actually the case, right? So there's a lot more to it when you have a life insurance policy. So one of the first questions that I ask my clients is, do they have a will? And 99.9% of the time, most of them are going to say, no, I don't have a will. Well, a lot of times people, let's just say they live in an apartment, they don't think they have anything. But that's not even always the case. There are people that live in big homes and drive fancy cars and have high paying jobs that do not have a will. And for whatever reason, people just don't think about it, or they just think it's going to cost a lot of money. And in the past, that probably was true. Like wills, you can get them pretty cheap, but then your family members are going to pay on the back end, right? Because all they're doing is actually suing to get your estate. So, and they can be contested, they're public knowledge. And so I always would advise, I'm not a lawyer, but I would absolutely advise to get a trust, because at least a trust, it doesn't go to probate, it's private. And nowadays with trusts, they make it a lot simpler where you can afford a trust. The only thing you really have to do is put it together yourself, and then you can get it notarized by an attorney. Okay. Some of them, even depending on if your bank has a notary there, you can go there to your bank and they can get the documents notarized for you. So if you sign up to my website, I'll be able to send you that link and you can have it, because I want to make sure that everybody is taken care of, okay, whether you're a client of mine or not. But it's imperative that you have something in place in addition to your will, okay? So whether it's a will or a trust, and let me tell you something, I call us, we're the common folks. We're the people that, we're entrepreneurs. We go to work every day, but you would be amazed at how many celebrities out here do not have wills or trusts in place. And so I just wanted to kind of give you like a little, momentum about who died without a will. Okay. I was even shocked. Like, it started off with Howard Hughes. Howard Hughes, who passed away in 1976 at the age 70, he did not have a will. Okay. A devout Mormon, his purported will was discovered at the headquarters of the Mormon Church in Salt Lake City. It was later discovered to be a forgery in court, and his estate was divided amongst his 22 cousins. Who would have thought? Okay. Sonny Bono. Sonny Bono, who died of a skiing accident in 1998. He was married at the time. His wife was Mary and was appointed the estate's administrator. So she probably thought, oh, yeah, I'm his wife. Everything is good. But ex-wife Cher made a claim against the estate and alleged a love child came forward as well. No will, courthouse chaos. And then Amy Whitehouse, one of my favorite artists, died at age 27 of alcohol poisoning in 2011 without a will. Her parents ended up being the sole heirs and administrators of her estate. Although the documentary Amy showed Amy as having a contentious relationship with her father, potentially to the point that she wouldn't have left him as one half beneficiary of her estate, no will, unintended beneficiaries. And then Bob Marley, also one of my favorite artists, also did not die, also did not have a will, died of cancer in 8 months. I'm sorry, he died of cancer 8 months after he discovered his illness. Let me stop right there. Bob Marley, one of the biggest artists, he was married as well. And young, Amy Winehouse young, Bob Marley young. These are young people who had died. And when he died under Jamaican law, his estate was divided among his wife and his 11 children, leaving his wife, Rita, with only 10% of his assets. Okay, 10%, no will, spouse unable to manage family assets. This is what happens when you don't have a will. And I like to think he probably didn't have a life insurance policy as well. Jimi Hendrix, again, 27 years old. You know, the fight over his estate lasted 30 years. 30 years, particularly Jimmy's likeness and image. In 2015, a settlement was reached prior to trial to determine how much Hendrix licensing, a company run by Jimmy's brother, Leon's business partner, owed to the Hendrix estate for sales of unauthorized merchandise. No will, no closing the estate. So we don't know who's making money off of Jimi Hendrix right now. James Dean, very young and handsome actor, only died at 24. He had only made three movies, and his father ended up being like the sole proprietor over his estate. And he was able to maximize his likeness and was able to generate over $60,000. His income was 8.5 million, and he's been gone for over 60 years. No will, no direction. So again, we don't know who's really, in addition to the dad getting the likeness of his estate, who's getting full benefit financially of the estate. So these are the things I'm talking about when you don't have a will in place. Okay, so most likely they didn't have a will. They probably didn't have a life insurance policy either. Okay, because that's something that nobody really knows. That's kind of private. The next thing that I always like to ask, the second thing I ask is, do you have a health power of attorney or financial power of attorney? So with a health and a financial power of attorney, sometimes they can be one and the same. I am one and the same for my mom, but sometimes when you have a family that has more than one sibling, which I also do, but I'm closest to my mom. But sometimes when you have a family with more than one sibling, sometimes maybe one of the children might be the health power of attorney. Maybe they're closer to mom. They take her to her doctor's appointments. They help fill her medications. God forbid anything happens to mom, they'll be able to make the decision to say yay or nay what to do with mom. And then you may have another family member, maybe another sibling, and necessarily not even a sibling. Anybody can be a financial appointed an executor as a power of attorney over an estate. Okay, and so they could be over the finances. Usually that should really be somebody that you trust, okay? Making sure that they're going to do the right thing and that they are going to honor the trust, making sure that they're going to execute it the way it should be, since trusts are private, okay? So either a will or a trust. I am not a lawyer, but I would definitely say do not get a will. We went down that road when my mother-in-law passed away, and she did a will. She was not forthcoming about it. Found out that it was my husband and my brother. I mean, my husband and my brother, my husband and his brother. And everything was supposed to be split 50-50. But because the brother lived in that state, he got he got the last say. And so even though we had to pay out all this money at the end of the day, it's just all it is a civil lawsuit. That's all it really is. And even when he didn't adhere to what the court said, now this is their jurisdiction, this is a government thing. They decide how you're going to probate a will, yet if you don't do anything, they don't put you in jail. It's crazy. Like he didn't follow through and they didn't do anything. And all they told us was that, well, we could start all over again, but you'll have to pay us all over again. Mm. We said, forget it. Keep it, it's not worth it. It's very stressful. It's very, very stressful. I'm telling you, don't do wills. If you can help it, don't do it. Um, Now they make trust, however, so affordable. So if you sign up to my website, I'll send you a link. All you have to do is go to a notary public and get it notarized, and your bank, depending on who you bank with, can they can go ahead and they could notarize it for you. All right. So go ahead and do that. Sorry for itching my nose. Sorry. Okay. And then the next thing, and the most important thing, this is the third thing that I like to talk to my customers about. Okay, so now that we have the life insurance in place, can I contact your beneficiary? Or maybe we can get them all on a three-way call to let them know that they are the beneficiary. Did you know that every year that over $1 billion is left on the table in unclaimed life insurance? $1 billion, some as low as 2,000, some as high as $300,000. And that could be for a variety of reasons. What I've also found when I go into the homes of people is that when they tell me they currently have a policy and I ask them where it is so I can look at it, they'll tell me they don't know where it is. And I'm talking about these are people that live in big, beautiful homes, educated PhD people. Don't think Don't ever think, this is what I learned doing this. Don't ever think because a person live a certain way or do a certain thing that the stuff is together. Don't ever think that because you don't know who's who. I had a lawyer that I was speaking to, and I had asked him the question because he was looking for something, and I asked him if he had a will, and he said yes. Oh, of course, you would have a will. He said, "Up, don't ever assume that lawyers have wills." He said because he had a friend that didn't have a will and everything went to crap. So that was a lesson learned for me. Okay. But the last thing I asked, can we contact the beneficiary and let them know that they are the beneficiary? A lot of times, depending on the parents, sometimes they don't want the kids to know, but they don't tell them that they have a life insurance policy either. So even if you don't want to tell them that they're the beneficiary, at least tell them where the life insurance policy is. A lot of times they'll say they don't know where. That's what I'm telling you, why they have these unclaimed policies not paid out because nobody's contacting the life insurance companies to say, oh, I have money that's sitting out there. I'm the beneficiary. A lot of times people don't know that they're the beneficiary. Or if they lost the actual policy, if they lost the policy or don't remember, maybe the person got dementia. We don't know. They move, things get lost. Trust me, things get lost in the shuffle, and now you don't remember the name of the company or you don't have it written down anywhere. That's why it's good to keep everything in one binder. Keep things in a binder. I have everything in one binder: will, trust, all of the account information. Everything is in one place. So that way, if God forbid anything happens, my family knows to go to that binder, period. We have all experienced, I'm not saying we all, but I'd say me, I have experienced it within my own family. Many of us have experienced this, and it has taught me a valuable lesson: how to do what. How to do what, and make sure you are checking periodically, especially about the beneficiary. This is where inheritance theft can even come in because fighting beneficiaries can be very difficult. Very difficult. Again, another civil suit, because it takes time to name a beneficiary. You got to request that paperwork. Well, unless usually you have a beneficiary on the spot, but you can also change a beneficiary, and usually that requires paperwork being sent. It has to be filled out, signed, and sent back. You got some family members that got time all day. So you thought that you were the beneficiary, and turns out, Brother Johnny came over and made himself the beneficiary, unbeknownst to you. Check it every few months. Check. Check, check. I also suggest putting things in a lockbox if you can. Put it in a lockbox, especially if you know that so a parent can't or people can't come in and out. Especially if you have people coming in and out of the home, you want to make sure that those things or those items are very locked up. So that's also another way to avoid, inheritance theft. And you think that because maybe you live in an apartment, uh, you don't have anything, you'd be surprised. Somebody wants this pen and they're going to fight for this pen. Somebody wants, the dishes, you'd be amazed. Put it in the will, and whatever else that you can't think of, just tell them they can just divide it or fight amongst it. But have those things in place. It's imperative. It is imperative to have those things in place. And then I want to go over some other things about some people who didn't have an estate. So let's go back to that. Tupac Shakur, he comes at the top of the list. In addition to Prince, Prince, we know he died. He did not have an estate. Tupac Shakur did not have an estate. Um, Chadwick Boseman, we know about him. Publicly, we heard how his wife only got like $1.3 million. He just made Black Panther. And, I pray for her and her family because, that's hard. Princess Diana of Wales did not have a trust. Aretha Franklin, that was also known very publicly that she did not have a trust. We know that she had her sons, so we don't know how that fared out. And so all of these people had died with no estate. They had nothing in place. So just imagine, masters being in the music industry and having masters. Who does that go to? Those are the things that I think about. But of course, probably the record labels probably get the biggest hunk of everything. But that's why it's important, especially when you have, legacy behind you, to ensure that everything is taken care of. Everything is taken care of. So if those people at that level are not having wills or estates and probably not even life insurance, then what does that say for everybody else? So this is something to really think about. And I know people are so like, I don't want to think about death, but really understand this. Life insurance is not for the dead, it's for the living. It's for the people that you leave behind. And we will throw the biggest birthday parties and we will do the biggest celebrations for people. We love to celebrate life. I do too. I love to celebrate life, but we don't prepare our loved ones that we say that we love for death. We don't do it. And so we say that I would feel conflicted as a child. I would feel conflicted. My mother doted on me. She loved on me and she left me out like this. It would not have made sense to me. I would have never have thought that my mom or my dad would leave me out like that. The way they doted, they celebrated me. But then when they died, they didn't have anything in place to protect me. So these are things that, goes through the minds of the living. The best thing that you can do is leave that love letter to your loved one. It's the most wonderfulest thing that you can do. And so I would encourage people again to, in addition to your life insurance policy, get these other things. So let me reiterate that one last time. I asked, do you have a will? I asked, do you have a health power of attorney for your health and one for your financial? And also naming the beneficiary. Can we contact the beneficiary to let them know how to get a hold of me, give them my information to get a hold of, the policy. Let's just say the policy get lost, things get lost. So that way they know what to do. So they're not out of pocket any money if they have to bury you, or at least they know that that's going to be taken care of. And even if they have to put money up front, they know that the life insurance is going to come on the back end and take care of it. Okay. So I thank you guys for stopping in. Didn't want to take a whole lot of your time, but this stuff is important. I know it's boring and people don't want to talk about it, but we will all face this at one point of our life. And I hope that somebody is going to come back and watch my video. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. All my information is below. You can click on my bio, check me out. And I like to let people know that I'm a real person. All right. So be well. And please, again, like and share this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you got a comment, let me know what you thought about it. All right. Have a great one.